Now you're
No.
Joni recording now. Oh.
Okay. Anne, how are you?
Hi, Matt.
We're having all sorts of technological issues.
Technological kind of things happening. So, yeah, hi. Nice to have you. Nice to have you here, Mel.
All right, so let's have another little chat. This is take two. So, Anne, you have a number of wonderful lifestyle and health enterprises that you do locally, voluntarily and paid for. And some of your ladies from the Roll Back the Odometer group had have some questions that they thought they might be able to answer. I might be able to answer. So hit me with one of them. Let's see.
All right.
Now that we've got our technology working.
We've got our technology working. There's probably a few questions from them all, and there are a couple of travellers in amongst our odometer group, and I think wish list, bucket list kind of travellers as well. But there was one really fabulous question for Marilyn, who's doing a lot of travelling through India. I know you're doing a lot of travelling through Europe. She's doing India and around Asia and such, and I hope she eventually sees this little video very soon when the recording goes out. She has some trouble with all the varying rates and weights that you're allowed to have in and out of all these various countries. How do you get away with staying within limits all the different countries you go to? Because I can imagine they all differ everywhere.
Yeah, they do differ everywhere, and they also differ between modes of transport and which airlines you use. So the big airlines can be 20 kilos, 23 kilos, 27 kilos, 30 kilos, somewhere in there. Yeah. And the smaller budget ones or the more localised ones tend to be 20 kilos. And then you've got your cabin bags, which go 7 to 10 kilos. The big thing too is that with other modes of transport, train is pretty well okay, but I use a lot of the big coach line buses, and they also have issues with the overhead. You must be able to fit it into their overhead lockers, which are much narrower. They're not
real big, are they?
No, they're not really big. And even so I specifically got a cabin bag that would comply with their narrower restriction. I also found that the restrictions that we're told in Australia in particular about the size of your cabin bag is actually bigger than what a lot of the airlines have over here. So you do need to keep your cabin bag quite small. It's the most on edge thing I'm about when I'm going on, because I don't have a home, I have all of my valuables in my cabin bag and my handbag. So I will not let it under the stow of a plane or anything. So if they do pin me, and say definitely not, I have to be ready to repack really quickly. And I'll talk to you a bit about that in a minute. So with the cabin bag, I actually have a cabin bag that is part backpack. It's a hybrid. It's a backpack that has wheels on it. And that's perfect for me because when I'm moving from place to place and in bigger distance travel, I have it on my back and I wheel my suitcase. But when sometimes I have the opportunity to leave my big suitcase somewhere and I might go away for 2 or 3 days or a week, and I just take my cabin bag and I want to be able to move it on wheels. But the buses, some of the buses, even if you meet their size requirements, won't allow the wheels on board. So I now have a soft case cabin bag that I'm just waiting its arrival. It's actually a little bit bigger in dimension than the others, but it still fits into the airline cabin sizing. But it doesn't have wheels on it. What I've also ordered is a very lightweight, I think it's about 1.1, 1.2 kilo plastic trolley, fold down trolley that I can sit inside that bag. And then when I want it, I can put my backpack on it, strap it on. I've just got little hockey straps that I use. I don't get too technical, and strap it onto the trolley and use it as a trolley bag. And
so the one that you've ordered, is that like a backpack style that you'd load on your back?
Yeah, but it's not so much. It doesn't look like the camping one. It probably looks more like a duffel bag. It's a really hard working leather because my cabin bags, all of my bags get thrown around a lot. It's not leather, it's a vinyl, but it's, it's a really, it doesn't look flimsy. It's not like a parachute silk thing.
They'd get so thrown around, wouldn't they? So have you found that there's a favourite material, baggage material that you like?
No, I go for cheap, and I know that there's a quality perception that says get expensive luggage and it's better. You know, honestly, whether it's luggage or anything else, I've nearly always found the expensive stuff falls apart just as quickly, if not more. So I just don't. I just accept that.
I can imagine.
I think my suitcase was like $70 from TK Maxx or Primark over here, like Kmart over there. Yeah. And now, you know, after 18 months of cobblestones and everything, one wheel is starting to look a little bit ragged. But I just factor in that I'm going to have to spend $100 a year on a new suitcase.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not traveling twice a year. I'm traveling every week. I move from place to place.
Wow.
And in Europe, it's all the cobblestones, and it is all of that. So, yeah.
So to answer Marilyn's question, you're conscious about you kind of make sure that you know the sizes that are all in coaches or planes, and depending on whether it's a big coach, big plane, little plane, domestic plane.
Yeah, look up their luggage policy if you know in advance. But of course, for me, I go from country to country to country to country, and they all have different bus lines in there, and you can't possibly know until you get there. So one of the things I do for that, just before I go on from that, I always go with soft luggage. I know that a lot of people, if you're going on a holiday, hard case luggage might be great. But the reality is that, you know, I do have to stuff and restuff. And I've just got a suitcase which has a couple of external pockets. And at the last minute, you know, I'm throwing into there, I use garbage bags as my waterproofing thing. And I might have to throw it over the top. And I have these things here, in the outside pocket. So this is what happens if I get to, I've never really had a problem with my big luggage, and I'll talk to people about why that is in a minute. It's my cabin luggage, which I'm always most stressed about because I desperately want it on me. So what happens is if they go, you know, I've got this sitting in my suitcase. Now, as I walk up, if it's an airline, as I walk up, I will say to them, is my cabin luggage okay? Before I let my suitcase go, I say, is my cabin luggage okay? And they check it and they say, yes, it's fine. I say, good, because I'm not putting it under the hold of the plane. Is everything okay?
Yes.
Yes. If they say no, I reach into the outside pocket of my suitcase and I grab my spare fold-out backpack.
Oh, cool.
And I suddenly throw in every valuable item I have, my laptop, everything that was in the cabin, which effectively empties the cabin luggage. Like there's nothing else in there but this stuff. And I put it into
like a little thin backpack, like made of what, like parachute material or something proper?
Yeah, it's like and these, you've got to have this for traveling anyway. Yeah, it's lightweight, and you can get them online, and you can get them, and they often don't last very long, and they're not very secure. So I wouldn't use this to, you know, go to the airport, you know, on public transport, because someone could just slash this. You know, it's going to break easily. It's not wonderful. I use these all of the time. I actually have another one that's a little bit bigger. This is a 35 litre. I wouldn't get smaller. I have one that says it's 40, but it looks bigger. And I can't hold it up right now because it's actually full of stuff because I'm using it to go out this morning. So these fold down into small packaging, and I have one of them all the time. Yeah. So if the last minute this happens, I suddenly grab everything out. I know that I'm in an airline terminal, and all I'm going to do is walk through security, and I'm less worried. I'm going to have to empty it all out for security anyway and put it all back in. And I know that chances are they're not going to steal this in an airport lounge. As soon as I get to the other end, I then pick this up, re-put it back into my lockable cabin bag, and do not leave the airport until it's locked up and secure back in it again. I wouldn't go walking through Rome or any other city with that. And same with the bus. If I get to the bus, and I only actually have had it happen once. On nearly every bus I've walked into, they've gone, we don't like your cabin bag. And I've kind of gone, oh, but it's got my computer in it and it's got this in it. And they go, oh, right. And they let me on board with it. I had one who said no, and it was raining, and I went, oh my goodness, because I didn't want everybody to sit and watch what I was taking out of my bag. But I said, okay, I'll put it under. and I took everything out and I put it into here. And when he saw that I took everything out of the suitcase and it was just empty and I put it into there and how small it was, he then went, "Oh, it's okay, take it on board." And I went, "Ugh." And so I put it all back in, locked it up and took it on board.
So what was their issue? Did they think it was your bag was too big, or?
Yeah, it's just because the standard cabin size looking thing is a little bit structured looking, and they are saying we can't take big bags because it's an issue, especially with wheels too, that if they suddenly hit the brakes and someone's wheel with hard wheels falls out of the cabin, top, or you know what I tend to do when they're not looking is that I wedge it under my feet because I'm short and little. Most people don't want to do that, and they don't like that because they say it can roll down. Mine are wedged in so tight because it only just fits in the space. But I actually rest my feet on it because it lifts my legs up a little bit higher. It's actually more comfortable for me to sit like that, and so I use it like that. But yeah, so that's the issue, is the projectile side of it. So yes, I'm ready to repack. The other thing that happens on buses, unlike planes, and keeping in mind that I do a lot of buses, and I would imagine that if Marilyn is travelling through Asia, she's doing a lot of buses, and you want to keep them secure. So the other thing I would say with Marilyn, with her luggage from a security point of view, once she knows them well enough, is to see whether they have a system for loading the bus. They normally do. So in Europe, you have two sides of the bus where the luggage goes in underneath. And what I found is that if you're going, so if, for example, I was on a bus that went from Lisbon to Malaga, which is like 10 hours on a bus, because I was at the last stop, my luggage goes on the road side of where the bus is, which is where the driver is, on the roadside, because if they're going to do 10 stops in the middle, they're going to put everybody's luggage in the middle on the pavement side, on the footpath side, because they don't want everybody running out into the road to get their luggage. And sometimes you don't go in the bus terminal, you're standing on the side of the road. So all of the early stops load into one side and all of the longer term stops load into the other. So when I book my seat, I try and book my seat on the same side as my luggage. And I would think it would be more of an issue in Asia and some countries of Europe than others, because then when I'm sitting on the side of the bus with my luggage, if we've got out at a stop after an hour and my luggage is on that side, I will physically stand up and look out the window to make sure someone's not taking my bag out of their stop.
Good point.
It's never happened.
Oh, God, you wouldn't want that to happen at all, would you? My God.
It did happen once. It did happen once. I looked out of the window and saw someone picking my bag out of the luggage, and I had a heart attack. And I had my headphones in, I had my phone, my handbag, everything on the bus, and suddenly I just dumped all of it and ran off the bus to stop them taking my suitcase, leaving everything valuable on the bus. And raced out, and all they were doing was pulling the bag out so they could get their bag and putting it back in. But I hadn't noticed.
And for nothing.
And then I ran back and went, oh my God, I left everything on the bus. And you will hear at the moment, because I'm pet sitting.
Yes, you look like you're in a lovely spot, lovely house.
I'm pet sitting and I'm talking. The dogs are awake when they'd normally be asleep, and they want to play, and she's not playing. So she's barking and
throw a ball.
Excuse me. So yeah, I've never had any issues, and I'm getting much more lax with security because I've just not had any issues so much anyway. But it's good to be safe. I also lock everything up, so everything is locked. I have a padlock on my handbag. I have a padlock on my other bag. I do use soft case luggage. Soft case luggage because I just figure, you know, if someone is going to take your whole bag and try and get into it, they're not going to try and slash it in the moment. They've got to do that with a lot of access and time. So they're going to steal your bag and then they're going to try and slash it. They're not going to stand in an airport or a bus thing in front of you and try and slash it and grab something out. And so, you know, if they're going to have your bag stolen, they're going to be able to get into a hard case. So, you know, they're going to use pliers and just get your lock off and get into a hard case. So I use that fits all those things in.
that makes a lot of sense. What about I think Marilyn's other concern was things like shopping or books or toiletries. How do you there's essentials we've got to carry with us that just shoes are weighty. And I you're in a big heavy jacket right at the moment. So does that mean you have to have big heavy boots?
Yeah. So one of the things.
Look at this. I'm in gym gear. You're in big heavy parka. Oh my gosh.
But this is a 200-gram jacket.
Yes, of course, that would weigh nothing.
Yes, and I can fold it down, into my into the hood and squish it up, and I can flatten it into a compression bag. So yes, everything that you do. So it does vary depending on whether you're going to a cold country or a warm climate country or the time of the year. And it is different whether you're going on a travel, like a 2-month holiday or a 6-week holiday, versus my life. Yeah. So let me address that. I had a look the other day. I was actually looking at it the other day. I have a suitcase at the moment, and I took out the bags that I need for here because it's winter time here. And I went, there's 3/4 of the bag still filled. And I weighed it, and my bag weighs 13 kilos once everything is out that I currently need. I have 13 kilos between the bag weight, which is light, and the stuff in it I just need to carry with me for the opposite season. I have 13 kilos in my luggage. So that only leaves me 7 kilos of actual stuff that I need for this season, because I'm carrying swimmers and vitamins and all of that sort of stuff. So a couple of things is that shopping. If you're on holidays,
shopping now.
And gone. Yes, talk to me about shopping.
Shopping.
If you're going on a holiday, shopping is an issue because you probably want to buy stuff. But you're talking to a minimalist. I don't shop.
Yes.
It's a
no shopping.
I simply don't shop. And now the dogs are going to play. Honestly, the dogs play twice a year, and they're going to play via and bark at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is very early for Europe. So I just don't shop. I mean, what am I going to shop for? I can't fit it in my suitcase. I have no home to send it home to, so I'm just not going to shop. So Marilyn, in answer to your shopping question, don't do it. And what are you doing it for? If you are shopping for someone for a gift, so you think, oh, I want to buy them a present while I'm away traveling, that's traveling and not living like I do. But I might be coming up to Christmas time and I will buy something, and I will buy it and I will post it straight away, because I'm either going to buy it and post it later or buy it and post it now.
Is that expensive to post stuff back home?
Horribly expensive. But I mean, if I'm traveling and I want to buy someone a present, I'm going to have to send it at some point. I'm not going home. Sure. So yes, if you're going to buy something, but if you're going to buy something for you, simply don't. The only time,
and that's it.
The only time I buy, and I've had to just recently buy things because they're getting old. So if I buy some extra clothing, I have to ditch out something out of my suitcase.
Something has to go.
And you're right with regards to boots. So normally my luggage, I like to sit at around 18 kilos, my main suitcase. It's probably at 22, 23 at the moment because it's winter. Right. So bear in mind, if I've got 13 kilos of non-essentials in my bag, or not essentials for this week's life, I've only got 5 kilos of luggage that I'm actually using in any particular season. That brings it up to 18. In winter time, I run out and buy boots. I mean, in Europe, and Europe right now, a pair of boots is 20 to 30 Australian dollars. You can get them for.
Wow.
I'm not getting knee-high fashion high heel boots. I'm getting nice, functional, waterproof, that nice enough to go out to dinner with. I think they cost me $30, and then at the end of summer, they get donated.
Sure, that's a good point.
What am I going to do with it otherwise? I have my big jacket. This jacket stays with me all year because, as I said, it's lightweight, it's scrunchable, and I have a raincoat thing that's it's kind of a windbreaker that's really light that I do that. And usually, sometimes I have one jumper that stays with me even in summer, but often I don't even have that because I can just use this. In winter though, and what I did recently is I went to effectively like a Kmart, or I go to a secondhand shop or something, and I bought myself 3 jumpers to go under this because this is not enough. Or I might go out and I don't want to wear this, and I picked up 3 jumpers. So suddenly that adds into my luggage. So I've got an extra pair of boots, I've got a closed-in pair of shoes. I've got 3 extra jumpers. I've had to go and buy. I layer up. So I just use long sleeve T-shirts, you know, the T-shirt material, but I might have 3 or 4 layers on.
What about those thermals? Do you have any of those? Are they necessary over there?
They would be if you're going to really cold places like snow.
Right.
I simply choose not to go there because I can't carry that in winter. But yes, I do have 1 pair, but I find thermals for me, maybe it's because I'm going through menopause, really uncomfortable because you're moving out of really cold places and then into warm. So you've just dragged 30 kilos of luggage down a, you know, cold, bitey street. And it's cobblestones and uphills and downhills. And all of a sudden you're hot and sweaty. You're hot. And you've got thermals on. You kind of bake internally. And you're going, oh my God. And then you've taken all this luggage and you hop onto a bus or a train to get to the airport. And it's warm. And you're already hot and sweaty. And suddenly you feel like you're going, oh my God. And you can't get it off on the bus in time to get there. So you go, oh no. So I just simply have layers that I can strip off. And like this, I will rip it off and I will fold it up and I will tie it onto my suitcase. So that I can move it with my suitcase and down a layer. It also has unzipping sides. So it's got the sides I can unzip and let air ventilation through if I get too hot, because sometimes with the backpack, I can't even get that off easily while I'm actually moving in transit. So yeah, you do have to be careful with that. The other thing that you mentioned, what was it? Oh, medication toiletries. Yeah. Medication, I luckily don't have a lot of medication, but I certainly have vitamins that I carry, and I love USANA vitamins, and I can't get them here. So yeah, I carry 6 months worth. So part of that 13 kilos luggage is probably, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 kilos of vitamins alone.
And then eventually you consume those and just get rid of the packets.
Lighter and lighter and lighter as they go. Yeah. Thank God. But then I have to restock. So
the answer, you really got to have good systems, don't you? You've really got to have systems in place for, you take something out, you replace it. You've got a place for everything. You've got to have a place for everything.
I also use travel cubes, compression cubes, and travel cubes, and I get different colours. Don't get everything the same colour. Because then you spend an hour trying to figure out what's in which one. So, you know, my blue ones are for cold weather because blue is blue. And my green, my summery lime green is for summer clothes. And my purple clothes is a bit more royal and regal, has my more going outy clothes in. You know, so I can find things easily. And yes, if I need to do a repack, and I have a couple of spare of those cubes so that if I get to the bus or train, they suddenly go, no, you can't do this. I go, crap. And I suddenly I normally just have the cubes I can pull out, and not everybody's looking at my luggage while I drag everything out of one bag and putting it into another. All they're seeing is my travel cube. They don't actually know what's in it.
That's one of the best tips of all. If ever you have to pull stuff out, the travel cubes, everything's contained.
Yes.
And no one's seeing is what it is you're pulling out.
And my travel cube, I always carry with me, bus, train, anything. In my cabin bag is this one travel cube. It's only about this big, and it has a spare set of underwear, depending on what climate I'm in, potentially a jumper or something, or a thermal as a backup. Because if they lose my main suitcase, I want to know. I don't normally worry about trousers. If I'm wearing a pair of trousers, I can wear them for 2 or 3 days. That doesn't really worry me. But I'll throw an extra T-shirt or 2 in a thermal in case they lose my extra jumper that's in my suitcase. I'll often have in my cabin bag a pair of flat shoes because I'm wearing my biggest boots. I have hiking boots. They're heavy. They get worn even in summertime. My hiking boots get worn from A to B, and it's really hot. But I'm not going to have them in my suitcase. They're 2 or 3 kilos in themselves. And I want to keep them. So even in summertime, I can be in a skirt and a singlet, and I have my hiking boots on when I move from place to place.
That would look very fashionable.
Oh,
that's a look. Like the Doc Marten style boot and the little mini skirt or something. That's very fashionable.
It's going to have to be. It's going to have to be. So yeah, getting that sorted carries us. And the other thing with toiletries is, and I won't go into this today, but maybe it's a question if someone wants to know another time, is do you got to get good at ditching toiletries? It's better for the environment. It's better for your health. Ditch your toiletries. Really, all I've got is a deodorant on me, and often that's sitting in my handbag. I can buy a deodorant. Every place buys deodorants. You don't have to take too much extra. You can get it at the place.
Do you have a secret tip of what one particular toiletry that you find just you use for everything?
Yeah, bicarb.
Whittled it down. Bicarb. Toothpaste.
Toothpaste, wash my hair if it needs washing. I don't wash my hair. I don't use shampoo and conditioner, so I don't carry that because you don't want that filthy luggage. I normally just wash it with water, and after about 3 weeks, your hair gets used to that. When it does need, if I'm a really polluted city, your hair gets a bit manky. So you can just wash it with bicarb. It's toothpaste. You can use it as a facial scrub. It's a bit harsh as a facial scrub, but and coconut oil. So you have to be careful with coconut oil that it doesn't leak all through your luggage, same as anything liquid. Yeah. But I use toothpaste and coconut oil on my teeth where I can. So yeah, basically I'm not carrying, the places I go nearly always have a soap or a gel wash. I do carry my Usana one for my face because I don't like to use any of those things. I would prefer not to use soaps if I can, but doing this lifestyle, you don't have a choice. But I use the shower gel on my face. So I'm carrying normally a shower gel, my toothbrush, a mascara, an eyeliner, a lipstick, and a pot of bicarb. And I usually just use the little Usana bottles to put bicarb in. And because I can go to the next place and buy a new bicarb. It's $1. It doesn't. Easy enough. So it's cheap. It's compact, and I use it for just about everything. And some sort of lotion. And once again, I would rather use Usana's body lotion. I can't get it over here, and it's great because it's a tube style. So the packaging is not all that heavy. But when I can't get it, I just get something locally. And I tend to buy tubes, even though it's a little bit more expensive. I'll buy a tube because I fit in my handbag. I think better than a pot of something does, which is a hard case. So
what about sunscreen? Is the weather harsh over there? Do you use sunscreen?
Well, obviously in summer it does. If you, once again, you can buy a sunscreen body lotion or face cream if you've got it. I simply don't use it, which I know the doctors may. It is dependent on your health, and yes, I would probably prefer to buy small tubes of it regularly than buy a 500 ml bottle.
Of course,
but yeah, I don't use it, so that's important. The other thing is using buying things. I went and did an Italian language course, and they gave me a big book, a book, and said, here's the course book. And I went, what am I going to do with that? Like, it's useless to me. And that was one of the few times that I just had to not have something. The key thing is I don't carry anything. I don't even carry a piece of paper with me. You can't carry that stuff. You just got to find a way. Someone said, I know Marilyn organises stuff, and she probably wants to use the tour books and have hard copy stuff.
Guides and things.
You can't. You just simply can't. If you want to get something so that you need to hand it out to people when you get back, then say to the tourist company that you're getting it from, send it to me in Australia. You just simply can't. You need to go and say, do you have this information online? And then you bookmark it online.
It all has to be online, doesn't it?
Yeah, or you can download their PDF. Do you have that in a PDF form? And you download it and save it to the cloud. You have to be very good at using the cloud. You have to be very user. And once again, I might do another whole video on security of the cloud. But you need to be storing everything. You simply can't carry it. There's no other way. You just can't. I just wanted to share one other really, really important tip. And it's not my tip. I can't take credit for it. It was a friend of mine who travels a lot. And I said to her, I asked her the same thing. How do you get around this stuff? The best tip I ever got, I would suggest fold up backpacks is the best tip that I can give you. The best tip that I ever got was buy a medium-sized suitcase, no more than 70 centimetres high. Just don't buy a bigger one. Suitcase. Because if you pack it to its capacity, and in wintertime I have it bulging at the seams because of the sheer size and bulkiness of all these extra winter stuff. I only have 2 pairs of heavy shoes in it. One is my joggers that I carry with me all the time. And right now I have my boots my going out more dressy round town or walking around town boots, not my sightseeing for 8 hours shoes, but my, you know, I want to go to dinner, I've got boots, zip up boots on. And then my hiking boots are the only other heavy boots I have, and they are always on my feet. So I only have 2 pairs of heavy shoes in my bag, and then I have I have a slip-on plimsoll-y flat shoe that, you know, that I use with skirts and dresses, and a pair of sandals or thongs or something like that. They are the only things I have shoes-wise. So that's the heavy thing, plus all of my vitamins, which are heavier at the beginning of the 6 months than the end. But everything is bulky and it's bulging at the seams. So unless you're having super heavy things like shoes in your luggage, you can cram. The heaviest I have ever got my bag crammed to the hilt is 23 kilos.
Wow.
I physically can't fit any more in the bag. It just won't fit into the bag. If you have a bigger suitcase, if you go and buy a 75 or an 80 or an 88 centimetre suitcase, I can tell you, you will always try and fill it up. You will always find a way to stuff it to the top, and then you're always, you know, worried about the weight of it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Don't do it. You're just going to have to make yourself fit into a 70 centimetre or smaller suitcase and cabin bag, and be prepared, because the other side of the movement between planes and buses is that when you're on a plane, you have the 100 ml limit on your liquids for security.
Yes.
So, you know, when I'm on a bus, I've got a hand cream that's 125 mils that I carry in my handbag. Well, suddenly I can't take that if I'm on a plane. So I kind of have a system for this as I'm packing for planes, or I'm packing for this, and I can quickly move. I've got a daytime toiletries bag that normally stays in my suitcase, and all of those things that I normally use on a day-by-day basis gets thrown into that if I'm going on a plane. And I just have a little one that I use as cabin luggage. But when I'm on a bus, all of those slightly bigger things stay with me because they don't care. And things like scissors, you know, nail clippers and things like that, they're not going to let them on a plane. You have to have them in your other things. So you do have to do a little bit of a swap. You have to be efficient with how that system works.
Efficiency and systems.
The irony is that I leave a very spontaneous, off the cuff, you know, living in 10 days time. But regardless of that, the irony of that is you have to actually be quite organised and be able to do that. So that's the kicker thing. Yeah.
All right.
I can think of.
Great tips. Great tips.
Does that answer, you think?
I'd say that would answer Marilyn's question. I'm sure we're probably going to have quite a few more questions emerge. So maybe, so how's your time going? Maybe some of the other questions.
No, that's cool. No, we'll leave it there for now.
All right.
Let's do that one so that we've got that there for Marilyn, and then we can address the others, and I hope that gives some help along the way.
Thank you all for all of that information. And I guess if you can stop the recording now.
Okay.
So thanks.